Hello, and welcome to another update video on Bitcoin. So, when we take a look at the broader crypto sector here, we see a very mixed bag. Basically, that has it has already looked like that yesterday, I think around the same time. But then obviously throughout the day, Bitcoin formed a new all-time high, right? So this is something that we are tracking. This is something we are tracking, obviously, regularly. I don't show these heat maps in every video, but you see a mixed picture. Yeah, let's see how the US stock market can potentially influence crypto on the micro level, because the stock market also pushed higher yesterday. At least the Nasdaq pushed a little higher, formed a new high as well. And for now, after yesterday's all-time high, this is 24-hour heat map, by the way, Bitcoin has come down again, and today basically no movement. Ethereum up slightly, and BNB 4.9%, and that's 24 hours, obviously, right? So BNB looks still like as if BNB has its own private bull run. But anyway, let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart. I made a video about BNB recently, but people just don't ask for it. I don't know why. Okay, let's take a look at the Bitcoin daily chart. Here you can see it. Bitcoin is pushing higher and higher and higher towards $126,750. That is my next resistance. We came all the way up to round about 126,400. So really close. That is, you could say, bullish. In my opinion, that is quite a strong move up here towards ideal targets already for a third wave here. Yeah, in our white scenario, the third wave should normally reach at least the 138.2 extension. We seem to have reached nearly the 161.8 extension. So, it's all good. The wave 4, the larger wave 4, which on the smaller time frame you see as Roman numeral 4, but I do have different wave degrees there because this is, you just see much more detail, so you have to stagger them slightly differently. But anyway, the trend is up, and we have a three-wave move to the upside, and we are in an area where we could, obviously, as you know, we're late in the cycle. We're approaching that time window where the cycle could top at any time. I talk about that every single day on the MCO Global channel at the moment, but I don't expect it to have topped yet, and I don't expect it to necessarily top in October. At least Bitcoin has never topped in October, and October is normally a bullish month. But I would say Q4 is not the time to be, to do something else, right? it's a time to be in crypto and to be involved and to make plans, because, we are in Q4, and that's normally where all bull markets topped. Yeah, it's not normally it's where all bull markets topped. Just something to be aware of. If you want to learn more about the cycle, check out our MCO Global channel. But then you could say, okay, but I mean, just because something happened before, it doesn't have to happen again. That's true. That's true, which is why for precision, a lot of people show you only those larger degree cycle things and everything, but they have no way of telling you when something is breaking. And that's why we're using Elliott Wave. Because at some point it will break. At some point it will break down. And we just need to be able to understand the language of the market, and Elliott Wave helps us with that. But for now, as long as we're holding even above our upper support area here, between 115K and 119.2K, the trend is up. Okay, so the trend is up. But obviously we're looking at a situation where also the stock market, it's not really given us any decent pullback since the April low. And so that market, I mean, the Nasdaq especially, but also the S&P, they are completely over, I don't want to say overbought, but they are completely overstretched, beyond what we would normally see. And from a technical point of view, this means a pullback is just due. Even a large pullback is due. And that could obviously impact crypto as well. Just something to be aware of. So focus on the macro, not so much on the micro. I mean, you can focus on the micro if you're a trader, but if you are really more like a larger degree investor, larger time frame investor, it can make sense to focus rather on the macro. So check out the MCO Global channel. Looking at the shorter time frame for BTC, we see basically an unchanged situation. Up here, few shifts, okay, and I have changed this to a complex correction in a wave 4. Now, I saw a question earlier on Discord, I think it was in Discord, that this complex correction for a wave 4 is rather bullish, right? I have to say, potentially, potentially. The thing is, if this really is an overshooting B wave, yes, it's bullish. On the other hand, Bitcoin couldn't grind higher directly, but it's potentially bullish, yes, with an overshooting B wave. I have labeled the B wave as a WXY structure, which is questionable because a WXY like this is possible, but if you have a wave, so if you have a WXY, yeah, and the wave W, well, top tier, but the X wave looks like a 5-wave move, which can't be, but, you know, microstructures on crypto charts, sometimes, you know, sometimes you get false signals and the context is more important. What I want to say is a B wave as a WXY is common, but it's also not the most common pattern. So a normal ABC would be more common. It just means take it with a pinch of salt. But we simply haven't seen enough of a pullback to assume that that Roman numeral 4 has started. Yeah. So here the larger third wave could have topped. Absolutely. I mean, I can just put that here onto the chart as well. We have enough in place, enough waves in place to say that we have topped, okay? But I have not seen enough structure of the pullback to even start to assume that, okay? We can watch for that. It wouldn't be a surprise, certainly. It wouldn't be. Support would be this, as you know, 115.1K. And so I just want to highlight, look, at least this larger 4 can happen at any point. But until we see some structure in the pullback, there's no way of confirming that. And look, we haven't even broken below the previous low. We're still above the Sunday low. So it's really just a tiny pullback at the moment, more of a sideways consolidation below all-time highs, which, yeah, is bullish. But just watch for signs of a pullback, because across the sector, we've started to see some altcoins develop 5-wave structures. Now, I can tell you that further upside would certainly help those who haven't managed to form 5 waves up, like XRP, like ADA. So that would be something interesting, and that is what we need to watch out for. So the next resistance is unchanged between 126,750 and 127,400. So 126,750 and 127,400. And to the downside, the nearest key level is obviously the Sunday low, around $122,400. And we have to give it room in this wave 4 all the way down to 115.1K. That correction could take maybe a week like the wave 2 did. So something to be aware of. I'll keep you updated. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you're interested in additional updates, make sure you also check out our X channel. You can follow us here as well for additional charts, updates, news, and much more. I also ask you guys regularly here which coins you want to see. Yesterday I covered quite a lot after you guys asked for updates here on X. Yeah, so you get some additional updates that we won't, or that you won't find on YouTube. By the way, also the community yesterday was asked, do we get a new all-time high today? So yesterday, 75% of you said yes, so you were right, guys. Congratulations. So anyway, I want to carry on with other coins. Wish you a great day. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.